What's up guys, Specstar here today with my week 7 battle for MLBA, and I'm going up here against Frozen, and he has a team here consisting of Mega Beedrill, Jirachi, Incineroar, Dusknoir, Togekiss, and Ninetales Alola. And I have a team here with a physically defensive Mega Venusaur with Leech Seed, Synthesis, Sludge Bomb, and Hidden Power Ice for the Zygarde, which did not show up surprisingly. It was interesting to see Dusknoir get the nod over Zygarde, but not 100% shocking as I do have the Venusaur and the Piloswine. I've got a Pheromosa, which is Expert Belt with Brick Break, High Jump Kick, U-Turn, and Ice Beam. A Darkrai, which is Scarf with Dark Pulse, Sludge Bomb, Ice Beam, and a fourth move, I think it was Focus Blast? Again, it's my tradition of not remembering my sets, and that tradition will live on. My next set is an Adamant 252 attack, 252 HP Metagross with a Rocky Helmet. It's got Earthquake, Bullet Punch, Pursuit, and Meteor Mash. Dragalge is specially defensive with Gunk Shot, Dragon Tail, Toxic Spikes, and Protect, I believe. I believe it was Protect, yeah. Just to give it some durability, help it get its health back a little bit. And Piloswine, which is physically defensive with Earthquake, Icicle Spear, Ice Shard, and Stealth Rock. Now, looking at this matchup, my plan was always to lead off with Metagross if he brought the Beedrill. Metagross covers a lot of his potential leads, including Ninetales, Jirachi, but mostly it just helps me put a lot of pressure on the Beedrill right away with the Rocky Helmet and the Pursuit. So that's what I'm going to do here, and he does fortunately lead off with the Beedrill, and I'm going to go right for Pursuit. And I'm going to get a huge chunk off on that right away, and that's in Rock's range, so if I get them up, that bee is not coming back in. He goes into Dusknoir, and I'm just going to go into my Venusaur to kind of feel this thing out. It's a Pokemon I don't mind getting burned. I'm just going to go ahead and get my seeds up on it, and he's going to go for the Wisp here, which is fine. And here, I'm just going to go for the double into Darkrai, actually. I did not remember that play, which is why I kind of stuttered there, but I went hard into Darkrai to put some pressure on him. And here I'm going to click Sludge Wave, expecting him to go into one of his two fairies. He actually goes out into Incineroar, and I'm going to do 21%. That's going to reveal to be Assault Vest to me. And I'm going to go into my Venusaur, which can take it on pretty comfortably. He's going to go into Ninetales, and I'm going to take my opportunity here to go into Metagross to try to put some more pressure on him. He's going to go for the Blizzard, so he shows to have 252 special attack and most likely timid nature, so that's good information to know for later. And here I believe I just went for the Earthquake as he goes on to Dusknoir. Earthquake could have covered a potential Incineroar or Jirachi play. Plus it does decent damage to the Dusknoir, which is relatively nice. Here I'm going to go out into Darkrai again, try to put some more pressure on him, and the Nightshade's going to get us pretty low. So that's essentially my last time I can bring Darkrai in on this thing, because at this point I don't really need health on Darkrai. I just need it to be out of range of any sort of Fake Out or Shadow Sneak. I need it to be able to take priority moves from those. That's essentially it, but it's getting a little too low here. But I decided that it was worth it to put some pressure on him early with those two turns for the health that I didn't particularly need. So here I have my Darkrai in, and I'm actually going to make the hard switch out into Piloswine, predicting him to go into Incineroar. And I went into Piloswine because there's been a lot of switching around here, and I just wanted to get my rocks up. They also, unless he's able to defog them with Togekiss, they also get rid of his Beedrill, which is really nice. Plus, having Rocks up makes Incineroar have a harder time switching in on Darkrai, which sets me up to win late game. Actually, all 3 of his Pokemon that resist Dark Pulse are weak to Rock, so that really sets up Scarf Darkrai to win by clicking Dark Pulse later. Here he's going to fake me out, get a little bit of chip, and here I'm just going to get my Rocks up as he is going to U-turn out, and he is going to bring out his Dusknoir on this. Piloswine is a really good matchup against his team, so I don't want to let Piloswine get burned at all, and I'm just going to go back into Venusaur here, which at this point has kind of established itself as my Dusknoir switching. I believe here I'm just going to go for Synthesis to keep my health up, and I do. And he's just going to go for Nightshade. I'm guessing his goal is to kind of drain my PP out with this thing. And here I believe I'm going to go for the Leech Seed, and I'm actually going to miss the Leech Seed. So there's going to be a few turns here, me clicking Synthesis to make up for the miss Leech Seed, but he missed a Wisp earlier, so I guess that's just kind of balancing out. And here I think I'm going to go for my Seeds. Yep, I'm going to get him seeded here. And now I'm just going to start synthesizing back up. I'm getting a little bit low on Synthesis PP. I think here I have got maybe 4 left. And he's just going to sack his Beedrill here while I get my health back. So, 1 Mon down. That tells me that he's probably not Defog. That's a pretty good sign for me that he's not Defog on the Togekiss, which is pretty nice for me. He may still be, but him sacking the Beedrill, that kind of tells me that he's probably not, since he may want to save it if he can get rid of the rocks. Here he's going to go into Jirachi, and I'm just comfortable with my Metagross as an answer to this thing. If he goes for a physical move like U-turn, he's going to take Rocky Helmet Chip, which is nice. And he's going to bring Dusknoir back in, and I'm just going to go to Venusaur as I've been doing. And I guess I should apologize here because the Venusaur versus Dusknoir turns I know must be pretty boring to watch, frankly. I think here I might have just went for my Seeds. Did I? Yeah, I went for my Seeds there because he'd been going for Nightshade instead of just switching out, so I thought getting the Seeds up first would have been nice there. And here I'm just going to go into Metagross again on the Jirachi, and he's going to go for Psychic here, and I'm just going to click Pursuit because I'm pretty sure he's not able to touch me. And I'm able to catch it with the Pursuit, so Metagross doing a good deal of work already. I mean, it got most of Beedrill's health gone, and it took out Jirachi pretty much on its own. He brings out Dusknoir here, and we got more Dusknoir on Venusaur action here. Except this time I actually get in range of Shadow Sneak, and Venusaur's gonna go down, so that wasn't a great turn for me, but it's probably a good turn for you guys since you didn't want to watch too much of the Synthesis versus Nightshade action there. I believe here I'm just going to bring out my Darkrai, and I think I clicked Dark Pulse here, did I? I'm pretty sure I clicked Dark Pulse here, in case he opted to predict me because I'd made aggressive plays with my Darkrai twice before. He will get some hail damage off on Darkrai, but we're still healthy enough. I'll bring my Metagross in on the Ninetales, and he does a good job predicting it with Dark Pulse. Since he only has 1 more Rock Switch in here, I thought he may just opt to risk me not having Bullet Punch and leave this thing in. So I am just going to click Bullet Punch here, and we're going to have a double down here with Ninetales and Metagross, putting us in a 4-3 position here. And here he goes Dusknoir here. I believe I went to my Jiggelgi. Yep. He's going to frisk my Black Sludge here. And he goes for a Pain Split, and I believe I just went for a Dragon Tail. At this point, I was just thinking about, I want to get Dusknoir weakened so I can kind of clean up with my Pheromosa and my Piloswine. That's kind of what I had in mind. So even if he burned me, I would have got him pretty low with the Dragon Tail and then his next switch into Rocks. He opts to Pain Split, so he's not getting that low, but Jiggelgi manages to avoid the burn. And he's going to go into Togekiss here, which I am perfectly fine with. Here I decide I just want to get up my Toxic Spikes, because it will really help me with Dust Noir and Incineroar. But actually he paralyzes me, so I kind of have to play this game with the paralyze. I know I can take air slashes, but I need to get an attack off. He can't flinch me all the way down. So I'm going for Gunk Shot here, because I know if I take the Togekiss down, it gets a lot easier for me to win this game. So I'm gonna keep trying to click Gunk Shot here, gonna get in Paraflinch. It would have been a lot nicer if I got those T-Spikes up, but that's not Mons. And then this turn I'm actually able to get my Gunk Shot off, and that's really nice because that Togekiss is in range of everything. And here I'm going to click Gunk Shot again because I want to get this thing gone. It's so much easier for me if Togekiss goes down. And fortunately I'm able to break through the para there and take it down. So things look a lot easier from here. He's going to bring out Incineroar here, and I believe I just went for my Toxic. No, I switched out to Piloswine here. I got my Spikes later. He goes for Darkest Lariat, and I believe here I'm just going to click Earthquake, get Chip on Dust Noir, or if he wants to leave Incineroar in, do a ton to that. He goes into Dust Noir, I'm going to get it pretty low here. And I believe here, did I go into Jiggelgi here? I went into Jiggelgi, so he wouldn't have been able to Pain Split his health back up. He goes for Nightshade here, and the next Nightshade's just going to barely take me out. So I'm going to go for my Protect here to get out of range of it. Fortunately, we avoid the paralysis there. Now I'm just going to have to hope I can get my Toxic Spikes up here. He goes for Nightshade. Do I get paralyzed? I don't. I'm able to get up my Toxic Spikes. So that makes things a lot easier for Pheromosa and Piloswine. Because Darkrai can force out this thing, and then it comes back in Poison, and it doesn't really beat anything. Jiggelgi's going to go down, and I'm going to bring in my Darkrai to force that out. I'm going to click Dark Pulse, and I'm going to do quite a bit, but the Incineroar is still going to survive. I'm going to switch this out because I didn't want to play any games with Fake Out into Shadow Sneak, potentially taking out Darkrai there. Not a game I particularly wanted to play here. Incineroar is going to go down there to the poison damage. He's going to bring in the Dust Noir, and I believe I'm just going to click Earthquake on this. And he is going to go for the Nightshade. I'm just playing for some differential here because I know it's pretty safe for me to do so, and I'm going to go into my Pheromosa, which definitely can take 2 hits from this. He goes from Nightshade to 35%, and here I'm going to click my Ice Beam, which is just my best move to hit it. He goes for Shadow Sneak. It does quite a bit considering. And I have a little bit of investment in my Pheromosa's defense, and it's still doing that, but that's just the nature of Pheromosa. And we are able to win this battle 3-0, and we're going to move on to 5-2, and I believe, is our differential +7? It's something like +7. Anyway, it's in that ballpark, and I think we're 3rd or 4th in the league right now, so a pretty decent start. We had a pretty interesting battle there. Dust Noir did quite a bit. It wasn't a Pokemon I put too much thought into, but it became a very relevant Pokemon in the course of this battle. Darkrai had a lot of potential in this game. It didn't score a KO, but it was always looking like a really solid, strong win con. Metagross wound up getting some crucial plays earlier in the game, which made it a lot easier for me in the late game. And interestingly enough, Jiggelgi wound up leading the team in KOs this game. I had 2 indirect KOs with Toxic Spikes from Jiggelgi, and it got 1 direct KO with the Gunk Shot. So the 6-point Jiggelgi finally proving its worth. I actually only took it because I thought that 6-point price was ridiculous for Jiggelgi, and that game was its first time really proving that point. So that's going to be it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.